Welcome back to the channel, guys. We got our 2014 Mustang that got dropped off because it broke down. Let's see if we can get it squared away and get it back to ripping. All right, well, here's our 14 Mustang GT. We've been working on this thing since it was new. It's got wheels and tires, tints, the MMD hood scoop. It does have Blowfish Engineering shifter support. That was a great mod to do. It really changed the way this car shifts and drives. You're never going to miss a gear with that. It has JBA long tube stainless steel headers, 1 7/8 into an off-road X-pipe going into a Flowmaster Outlaw exhaust, so it's really pretty loud. That's for sure. It has the race-only cold air intake that requires a tune, so we got a good tune in it. So let's get her patched up. All right, well, now that we're looking under the hood, you can see it has a big strut tower brace. This is the one with the 4 bolts into the tower instead of just the 2. I always like that. I feel like it gives it a little more support. And I'll tell you, when you're driving it, it really did make a big difference from going from no support to that. That was great. There's the JLT oil separator. That is a useful mod too. Put that on right away when the car was brand new. And I'll tell you, every time you change the oil, you're dumping out quite a bit. So that's good. Better than going in the intake. And the color on this is Deep Impact Blue Metallic. So what's brought our Mustang back to us, unfortunately, if you can see, there's a lot of fluid around here. Well, the water pump decided to let go. The belt's soaked. And the car is under 50,000 miles. It's just unfortunate it happened. It happened on another friend of mine's 5-liter pickup truck, too. He had a little more miles, but probably a little less RPMs went through it, so unfortunately, we still got the original belt on it, so we're going to change that out, and we're going to get that water pump changed out and get it back in action. So yeah, there's a lot of mess under here. There's a lot of coolant, so let's start tearing into it and get it done. And guys, stay tuned to the end of the video, because we got to have a little bit of fun with this car to bleed the air out of the system, we'll call it. So check it out and hear what that nice exhaust sounds like. Now we'll finish off getting the intake tube out of the way, and we'll get to see what we're actually working with. And there's your mass airflow. Yep, a lot of coolant down there. Well, let's keep digging. MT. She definitely blew out pretty quick. Now we'll work on getting the coolant reservoir out of the way. Okay, getting closer. Looks like we have the 3-bolt water pump. I'm gonna have to run up to the parts store and get one, because right now, when I was looking to get the parts, they had a 3-bolt and a 4-bolt. This is a 3-bolt, but like I said, I didn't know that until I got it apart. So hopefully there's not too much coolant left in here. Not sounding very promising. Seemed like it dumped out pretty heavy, so should be good to go. These quick disconnects are really easy to work with. I have to say, I do like them. Look at that, huh? Put that over there. Getting closer. Before you take your certain seam belt off, always take off your water pump pulley, because that way you're not trying to hold the pulley and turn it at the same time. The belt will help hold it. See? You can see the play in the pulley. Look at this. That water pump is real bad. Now a tensioner, I believe, is right here. Or is it this one? It's this one here. Here's our tensioner. So I'm gonna loosen this and be able to slip off the belt. Alright, now we'll get the belt off. See if there's a belt routing map here anywhere on this car. It does not look like it. So that'll be fun. Have to just take a quick peek at the video maybe, but usually I think it's almost like a little puzzle. I kind of enjoy doing it. But when you're working in the dealership, not so much. You're just trying to work flat rate, so take a quick picture with your phone. There we go. AC belt stays on. Don't have to worry about that. Get our last. This, I know it's unbolted, but look at the shaft play. Same thing happened on the F-150 I worked on recently. What's this? I mean, that is a really bad water pump. Now it's time to start working on getting the thermostat housing out of the way and off the old water pump. So we got to disconnect all these lines. Well, now that we know the water pump is a 3-bolter, and as I showed you before, I mean, this is just there's your monster of a leak right there. So what we'll do is we'll run to the parts store and we'll pick up a new one, and we'll be right back. Alright, so now we'll pull the crossover pipe off here. I have to apologize for the shakiness in the camera. It's a brand new camera to me, and I didn't quite figure out the gimbal on it yet, but I got it straightened out now. So in the future it will be a little bit smoother. So just bear with me through these clips here. Now I'm taking off the line for the heater core. Get that out of the way. I did loosen a few of the bolts on the water pump already, but I left it tight so I could get this line out, because it's a metal line. You got to wiggle it out a little bit, and it's a lot easier when it's still fixed to the engine, so it's not flopping around while you're trying to wiggle this out. So get that out of the way, and then we'll get the rest of the water pump bolts out. That whole side of it's free floating, so just around the shaft part is all you have to worry about for bolts. Well, now we got to try to get this water pump off. They're really stubborn to work with. I'll tell you, they act like they're almost pressed in, but really it's just a seal, and you got to work it back and forth with a pry bar on each side to get it to pop, but it's not easy. There we go. I think we're there. Come on, damn it. Hey! Hopefully the pan catches some of it. Here's our nasty water pump. Look at this. This is the second one I've done recently. Clearly there's an issue. And it's new one. Got this already on it. Nice and tight. Nothing weird in there. Nope, we're good. Wipe this out. Well, the pump's tight, so now it's time to get the heater core line in and tighten down. Got a little bit of sealer on there so it won't leak. The factory had some too. And there's a new O-ring that usually comes with these, so make sure that's in. Here's our thermostat housing. That bolts right on to the water pump also. So the biggest thing with that is make sure that there's a gasket on the back of it. You get that out and you replace that with a new one, because you really don't want to have any leaks and have to do this all over again. It's real easy. You just tighten it right down and you're good to go. Now we're on to hooking up most of the hoses here. The top one, as you can see, is the old style clamp, but the other two are both the Ford quick disconnect ones, so those are pretty easy to deal with. They just click right on. Now we'll work on bolting the water pump pulley on. With these things, you just put the pulley on, get the bolts on there as snug as you can with your fingers. Then once you run the belt, then use that to help hold it. Then you can really crank it down tight. It'll make life a lot easier. Trying to tighten it while holding the pulley is kind of crazy. Now we got to route that belt. Right here, get that on. That's a fun routing. Goes like this, and back up, and then around and down. It's kind of annoying, but at least it's pretty tight, so that's good. Got the new belt on. Now we can put the coolant tank on. Now our coolant overflow tank is all set up, and that's tightened down with all the hoses hooked up. So now we're on to putting the intake, cold air intake tube on. So we'll get that all lined up. The biggest thing with this is make sure you don't forget to plug in your mass airflow. Alright, we got everything all nice and tightened up. There's our mass airflow sensor, got that plugged in. So let's add some coolant to it. We're full of coolant now, so I guess it's time to take it for a rip and get the air out of it and have some fun. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. This car is always a lot of fun to drive, and they're really not that bad to work on, which is great. So if you guys ever want to crank on one of these, don't be scared. Like I said, thanks for watching. You can check us out on Instagram. We have a pretty active account on there. And please like and subscribe to our videos, guys. We're really trying to grow the channel and really make something special. So thanks a lot. We're Mass Mechanics.